Thank you very much. I'm very proud to release this book, Flip the Story by Astha Alwalia and Saroni Malhotra. Saroni is sitting out here. This is a book to help our young people who get disturbed by a whole lot of things happening outside and inside their life. Today, a large number of people at different times go through all kinds of stresses about their personal lives, stresses about their work life, and gets into difficulties. It is in situations like this, simple counseling can help, and it is in situations like this, books like this can help. I'm very proud to have released this book and congratulate Saroni about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The idea of Flip the Story came from a simple concept that the most important story is the story that we tell ourselves. And if we tell ourselves the wrong stories, then we'll be more in trouble, more disturbed. Um, if we start telling ourselves the right stories, the more helpful stories, we will wade through any problem that life throws our way. And this book really helps with all these standard emotions, all the emotions that we feel all the time: anger, loneliness, grief. And how do we flip that story to a more helpful story for ourselves and become better versions of ourselves? Thank you so much to SIPCON for helping release this book today.
I have known Saloni since almost a couple of decades and more, and I'm really proud that she has come out with this book, which is so thoughtful and which is so timely, in the sense where, I mean, we can see our own children, our relatives, friends, so many people are all going through some kind of issues or the other. They may be trivial, they may be serious. Some of us, as I said, are lucky to find some people who can advise us during our troubled times. But not everybody is really in that situation. They require support, and they require, in fact, anonymous support, and not just support from, because they're too shy to talk about their problems to anybody who is close to them. So they would always like to discuss and see uh, with people who are not known to them, but whom they trust. So this is one such initiative that Saloni has taken, apart from her numerous various things that she has done in life. But this is, I think, the most fantastic thing that she has done. Thank you.
You might be all surprised at what is the book launch doing in the middle of such high level discussions on high tech AI and its applications and so on. Okay. So, in the midst of all the deliberations of on artificial intelligence, let us, however, take a moment to pause as to reflect on the natural intelligence that we use to cope with our daily problems. And when we want to search a way out on the when the life, actually I'm quoting now from Saloni's book, when life pulls us into the depths of anger, guilt, loneliness, or frustration. To quote from her book, these existential problems, of course, have always been there since ages, but the changing times have brought into focus these problems, which now we feel uh, under great pressure to solve those problems. And particularly with the aspirational and competitive pressures that build up in the current day existence of ours, we require a lot of support to see how to balance what some work that we are doing in various professional domains, and how to balance that with solutions to our own individual issues and problems. So India is now house to about 600 million people under the age of 35, and most of them are working on the forefront of high technology. Many, in fact. So many live away from their families. That is the nature of work. We have kind of look for jobs outside our places where we were, where we had grown, and adjust to new environments, new relationships, new equations, and these are all the things that bring many turbulence maybe in our life. Most of us, of course, are lucky enough to sail through those moments. We are able to find strength from somewhere or the other to cope with those issues. But for some, it might become very difficult, and it might get into a much more deeper quagmire of mental pressure, which they may not be able to come out with. So, of course, this book, as Saloni will tell you about, she'll talk more about it, as to why she wrote this and how it helps people to overcome such issues, and also about her own organization, Reboot Wellness, that has helped several young people who have had some issues or the other to get back, reboot themselves, as she calls it, and enjoy life as it is meant to be. So I would like Saloni to talk a few things about your book and about Reboot Wellness, and then we'll have Professor.
Very good afternoon to everybody. Thank you so much to Dr. Rajaram and to Dr. Rajaram again for inviting me for this conference today. Chennai holds a very, very special place in my heart. It was my home for 7 years, and I'm always thrilled to be back. Like Dr. Rajaram was saying, that this is a conference on AI, on technology, and while technology has given us a lot, it has given us something that we all need to work around. It is starting to get us to be disconnected from the world and from ourselves. We all end up doom scrolling at the end of the day to fall asleep. We wake up and we use WhatsApp when we want to ignore other people. We don't even realize it subconsciously. We go onto our screen when we don't want to talk to other people. And we are seeing a rise of very subtle changes in human behavior due to technology. And when I started working on the concept of mental health in 2017, psychologists told me that by 2023, which is now behind us, by 2023, each one of us will know somebody who may want to commit suicide or will attempt to commit suicide. And I didn't believe that person because it was 2017. And with sorrow in my heart, I say that is increasing more and more now. Today, there is no college name that you put in Google and say college name and suicide, and the article doesn't come up that a child attempted suicide. And we want to work in that direction. We're leveraging a lot of technology. We use a lot of human intervention. But for a lot of people who don't walk into a therapy room or don't want to seek help, we thought we should put out a little book which we call Flip the Story. Astha is a trained psychologist, and I'm an engineer and from the side of business. And together we've picked about 15 emotions, all the common emotions that all of us feel: anger, loneliness, grief, you name it. And in that moment, we've just given you one word. If you can remember that one word and how to flip that emotion. For anger, it is curiosity. For loneliness, it is being vulnerable, and so on and so forth. And how therapists in a closed room help you with those emotions. That is what we've tried to build out. Over the last 7 years, we've helped about 5,000 families across 12 countries, working with their emotions and helping individuals become the best version of themselves. And in this book, we've tried our best to summarize what we do on a day-to-day basis. I do hope that some of you will, will pick up the book and read it. It's a very difficult and deep topic, but we've kept it very simple, very light. It's a very easy breezy read. You don't have to read the whole book together. You can read just one chapter, any chapter that you're struggling with. If you're struggling with anger, just pick that chapter. If you're struggling with grief, just pick that chapter. 15 minutes, that's all it takes, but it gives you something to work with as you deal with that emotion. And today is a very, very special day for me because three people in this room are people who taught me how to actually practically do these things. Dr. Rajaram, his wife Lalita Aunty, who's in the audience, and of course the chief guest, Professor Jhunjhunwala. Between the three of them, I can say that any skill that I needed to learn on emotional resilience, on staying afloat, dealing with failure, dealing with all the tough times in my life, it was because of the three of them. So it's a very special moment, very special day for me, and thank you everybody for being here and joining us today. Professor.
Maybe tens of thousands of students have taught, but it is not the IIT students. What happened, the transformation took place somewhere around 84, 85, starting with Tamil Nadu, where private engineering colleges started getting opened up. And suddenly engineering education, which was otherwise something that only very, very few students could take up, suddenly opened up. And tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and now a million students every year. I don't know how many of you know that it is that single act of opening up private colleges and getting 1 million people to become engineers per year, which has been the primary cause of the development. The 6-7% growth that we talked about. Of course, the economic transformation in 1991 played a major role, but I think another very, very big role that has been played is because of the large number of engineering human power that we created. Now, along with that, something else that I have seen. Since I've dealt with almost 10-20,000 youngsters, mostly these are either students or when they just graduate, 22-year-old. Many of them come and work. I must have worked with at least thousands of such youngsters. And as I interact with them, I started seeing that many of them are going through a very difficult time, sometime or other. As Professor Dr. Rajaram pointed out, that many of them are no longer living in their homes, in the protected environment of their homes. In fact, a lot of people from all over the country started coming here. This was the place where the private colleges, engineering colleges started. This is the place where it opened up. Now, of course, it is there in most of the country. And these youngsters, sooner or later, away from home, start getting into difficult times. Sometimes it is a matter of simply liking someone and maybe the other person likes you or not. That is one issue. Second is, even if both the people like, the parents often do not agree that they can get together. So I saw early disturbance from this simply youngsters trying to marry each other, trying to get together, and I started seeing very difficult times that they had to go through. That was a period, I would sort of say, probably from around 85 to around 2005. That was the primary disturbance that I would see. But later on, I started seeing something very different. And as much in IIT students as in any other students from other places, youngsters from other places, basically their aspirations started going up. That maybe because of IT, maybe because they will be extremely successful. They will become very rich. Somewhere also that you don't have to necessarily work very hard. Or at times you work hard and you get burned out. So what happened, what we started seeing from around 2005 onwards, quite a bit of disturbance where people feel that I'm a failure. I have not been able to do what I should have done, could have done, I'm capable of, and I have failed. And this disturbance is now fairly widespread. It happens to most people sometime or other. If you look at their life from the age of, and I only look at starting at 20, 22, 20 to around 50, you see that that disturbance occurs. Probably I haven't seen it as much in older people, though there is a kind of feeling after retirement and all that what do I do, what is the meaning of my life and all that. But this 20 to 45, 50, I see almost every third person disturbed some time or other. And this is probably the result of high growth, probably the result of our family splitting and no longer living with a larger family not there to support. There are friends, but probably I am not sure. I was talking to Saloni that at one time our friends used to hold us together, but once you get in college it works all right, but once you get into careers you are all at different places and it takes a little time to establish all this in the career. The second thing that happens in the corporate itself, there is a competition, and that also creates this whole tension. And it is at this time they need somebody to hold their hands. I'm not talking about people committing suicide and all that. Numbers very, very small there. But a lot of people are very disturbed. And I remember first time around 2017 or so when Saloni had started this reboot. She had met me and she talked about it. And I recognized that it's a very, very important area and she should do what she can, and I encourage her, and I think she has done rather well. But I'm actually very pleased about this book. This book is a very simple book. I will not say that this is the best book about this subject. I don't know. I'm not very pleased about the subjects, I can't say. But very simple book, tells you what you do when you are disturbed. How do you try to gather, somehow get the strength from inside, right? And tells you that this is a phenomenon which is quite common, and don't get too worked up and worried. Don't try. Sometimes people sort of say, if I expose this that I am disturbed, there will be a finger pointing at me. I think point is that everybody goes through these different times. I myself, I've been a quite successful person, but at times go through very, very difficult situations. Now, being able to cope through difficult situations, being able to get balanced, being able to somehow pull oneself life, this is the kind of thing that this book tries to do. I think this is the beginning of what we need. We really need to pay attention to this. The strife, even the social strife outside, all the time hurts. You don't know what is going on. I recently, about a few weeks back, I was for almost 10 days I was in US, and I met a lot of my students, a lot of other districts. They are all disturbed, very disturbed because of the kind of thing that's happening. They don't know whether their visas are going to be renewed, whether their studies can continue, whether they will graduate, what kind of job. So I see that disturbance all the time. And I think this is where this book tries to help. And I've gone through parts of this book and I found it very, very useful. I'm sure all of you will find that very useful. Thank you, Saroli, for writing this book. We need to do more in this area. This is only a beginning, and I think more deeper. How do we take? I would say within our country, probably the problem is in the world. I know less about it, but within our country, get this young generation, this large population, largest young youth, get them past over the next 20-25 years. This is where this book will contribute. Thank you and congratulations.
Site, which is rebootwellness.com. I have 20 copies outside. Happy to give it to whoever needs one. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonny, for sharing the channel to get the book.